Welcome to Nevada City Elementary School. This is room 12. I'm Judy Ballentine, and welcome to Saluting New Readers. This is our 6th year reading for you. I hope you enjoy.
Second grade.
This is 2nd grade.
Hi, my name is Jason. I'm going to be reading No Roses for Harry. Harry was a white dog with black spots. On his birthday, he got a present from Grandma. It was a woolen sweater with roses on it. Harry didn't like it the moment he saw it. He didn't like the roses. When he tried it on, he felt cozy and snug, but he still didn't like the roses. He thought it was the sailor's sweater he'd ever seen. The next day, when Harry went downtown with the children, he wore his new sweater. When people saw it, they laughed. When dogs saw it, they barked. Harry made up his mind, then and there, to lose Grandma's present. When they went into a big store to shop, the children took off his sweater and let him carry it. This was just what Harry wanted. First, he tried to lose it in the pet department, but a man found it and gave it back. Then he tried to lose it in the grocery department, but a lady found it and gave it back. He tried to lose it in the flower department, but a little boy found it and gave it back. The children didn't let Harry carry it anymore. They made him wear it. As they started home, Harry was beginning to think he'd never lose it. When he got home, his friends were waiting to play with him, but Harry didn't feel like playing, so they left him alone. As he sat wondering what to do, Harry noticed a loose stitch in his sweater. He pulled at the wool, just a little bit at first, then a bit more and a little bit more. Harry didn't know it, but a bird was watching. In a minute, Harry had pulled out quite a long piece of the wool. The end of it lay on the grass. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, please check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Emily, and I'm going to be reading Mr. Brown Can Moo. Can you? Oh, the wonderful things Mr. Brown can do. He can go like a cow. He can go moo moo. Mr. Brown can do it. How about you? He can go like a bee. Mr. Brown can buzz. How about you? Can you go buzz buzz? He can go like a cork. Pop, 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 pop. He can go like horse feet. Clop, clop, clop. He can go like a squeaky shoe. He can go like a rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. He can go hoo, hoo, hoo. Eek, 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 cock-a-doodle-doo. Hoo, 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 how about you? He can go like the rain. Dibble, 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 dop. Dibble, 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 dop, dop, dop. He can go like a train. Choo, 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 choo. Oh, the wonderful things Mr. Brown can do. Moo, moo, buzz, buzz, pop, pop, pop. Eek, eek, hoo, hoo, clop, clop, clop. Dibble, dibble, dop, dop, cock-a-doodle-doo. Mr. Brown can do it. How about you? Mr. Brown can whisper, whisper, very soft, very high, like the soft, soft whisper of a butterfly. Maybe you can too. I think you ought to try. He can go like a horn. Blurt, 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 blurt. He can go, wait. like a big cat drinking. Slurp, slurp, slurp. He can go like a clock. He can go tick, he can go tock. He can go like a hand on a door. Knock, knock. Tick, tock, knock, knock, knock. Oh, the wonderful things Mr. Brown can do. Blurp, 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 slurp, slurp, cock-a-doodle-doo, knock, 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 and who. He can. Thank you for listening to me read, and if you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Maggie, and I'm going to be reading a book called Ruby the Copycat. Monday was Ruby's first day in Mrs. Hart's class. Class, this is Ruby, announced Miss Hart. Ruby, you may use the empty desk behind Angela. Angela is the girl with the pretty red bow in her hair. Angela smiled at Ruby. Ruby smiled at Angela's bow and tiptoed to her seat. I hope everyone had a pleasant weekend, said Miss Hart. Does anyone have something to share? I was a flower girl at my sister's wedding, said Angela. That's exciting, said Miss Hart. Ruby raised her hand halfway. I was the flower girl at my sister's wedding, too. What a coincidence, said Miss Hart. Angela turned and smiled at Ruby. Ruby smiled at the top of Angela's head. Class, please take out your reading book, said Miss Hart. At lunchtime, Ruby hopped all the way home on one foot. When Ruby came back to school, she was wearing a red bow in her hair. She slid into her seat behind Angela. I like your bow, whispered Angela. I like yours too, whispered Ruby. Class, please take out your math books, said Miss Hart. On Tuesday morning, Angela wore a sweater with daisies on it. At lunchtime, Ruby hopped home sideways. When Ruby came back to school after lunch, she was wearing a sweater with daisies on it. I like your sweater, whispered Angela. I like yours too, whispered Ruby. On Wednesday, Angela wore a hand-painted t-shirt with matching sneakers. After lunch, Ruby hopped back to school wearing a hand-painted t-shirt with matching sneakers. Why are you sitting like that? Whispered Angela. Wet paint, said Ruby. On Thursday morning during sharing time, Angela modeled the flower girl dress she wore at her sister's wedding. Ruby modeled her flower girl dress too. Right after lunch, Angela didn't whisper anything. By coincidence, on Friday morning, both girls wore red and lavender striped dresses. At lunchtime, Angela raced home. When Angela came back to school, she was wearing black. On Friday afternoon, Miss Hart asked everyone to write a short poem. Who would like to read first, said Miss Hart. Angela raised her hand. She stood by her desk and read. I had a cat I could not see because it stayed in back of me. It was a very loyal pet. It's sad we never really met. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear how this book ends, check it out at your local library.
Hello, my name is Mariah, and I'm going to be reading Harry and the Lady Next Door. The next day, the lady next door sang some more. Harry's ears hurt more than ever. Hugh went for a walk. After he had walked for a long time, he heard a wonderful sound. Oompa, 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 oompa. It was loud and lovely. Then Harry saw what it was. It was the big horn. It was the fireman's band. The big horn was even softer and lower. Then cows mooing. Harry walked along listening. He wished the lady next door would sing like the big horn. Then he saw the leader of the band. The leader threw his stick into the air. Harry watched. Suddenly, he had an idea. The next time the stick went into the air, Harry caught it. Harry ran in front of the band. The leader ran after Harry, and the band ran after the leader. Soon the leader was all out of breath. He stopped running, but the band ran after Harry. The men played as they ran. Harry led them all down the main street of town. They passed the school, the library, and the firehouse. Harry stopped the band in front of the lady's house. She was still singing. The bighorn player played even softer and lower, even before. Thank you for listening to me read, and if you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library. Hi, my name is Gabriella, and I'm going to be reading a book called Angelina Ballerina. More than anything else in the world, Angelina loved to dance. She danced all the time, and she danced everywhere. And often she was so busy dancing that she forgot about the other things she was supposed to be doing. Angelina's mother was always calling to her, "Angelina, it's time to tidy up your room now." Or, "Please get ready for school now, Angelina." But Angelina never wanted to go to school. She never wanted to do anything but dance. One night, Angelina even danced in her dreams. And when she woke up in the morning, she knew that she was going to be a real ballerina someday. When Mrs. Mouseling called Angelina for breakfast, Angelina was standing on her bed doing curtsies. When it was time for school, Angelina was trying on her mother's hats and making sad and funny faces at herself in the mirror. "You're going to be late again, Angelina," cried Mrs. Mouseling. But Angelina did not care. She skipped over rocks and practiced high leaps over the flower beds until she landed right in old Mrs. Hodgepodge's pansies and got a terrible scolding. At playtime, she twirled and spun across the playground so fast that none of the little boys in her class could catch her. They were all very cross. After school, she did a beautiful arabesque in the kitchen and knocked over a pitcher of milk and a plate of her mother's best cheddar cheese pies. "Oh, Angelina, your dancing is nothing but a nuisance," exclaimed her mother. She sent Angelina straight upstairs to her room and went to have a talk with Mr. Mouseling. Mrs. Mouseling shook her head and said, "I just don't know what to do about Angelina." Mr. Mouseling thought a while, and then he said, "I think I may have an idea." That same afternoon, Mr. and Mrs. Mouseling went out together before the shops closed. The next morning at breakfast, Angelina found a large box with her name on it. Inside the box was a pink ballet dress. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hey! Fantastic!
Hi, my name is Hannah. I'm going to be reading a book called Good Night, Good Night. Once there were 3 little dragons. They lived in a dark cave. The cave was in the dense forest. The forest was in the faraway kingdom. The poor little dragons were very lonely in their deep, dark cave. In the kingdom there was a good knight. Every night he kept watch. He watched from the crumbly-tumbly tower. It was on top of the very tall wall. One night, the good knight was on his watch. He heard a very large, very loud roar. So the good knight left the crumbly-tumbly tower and climbed down the very tall wall. He jumped on his horse. Away, he said. He galloped through the king's forest with clippity-clop, clippity-clop. He came to the dark cave, deep dark cave. Inside, he saw the first little dragon. "What's this?" he asked. "Me think it's a dragon." And he drew his shimmery, glimmery sword and dragged his jammies. He was all ready for bed. "Oh, good, you are here. You have come," said the dragon. "Could you bring me a drink of water, please? Then I can go to sleep." The good knight did not know what to think, but he was a good knight. So he got a drink of water. He gave it to the dragon. Then he tucked him into bed. "Good night, good dragon. Sleep well, sleep tight," said. Hi, if you want to listen to the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Kai, and I'm going to be reading Pink.
Once upon a time, there was a beautiful duck named Pink. Pink lived with his mother and his father and 2 sisters and 3 brothers and 11 aunts and 7 uncles and 42 cousins. Their home was a boat with 2 wise eyes on the Yangtze River. Each morning as the sun rose from the east, Pink and his mother and his father and his sisters and his brothers and his aunts and his uncles and his 42 cousins all marched, one by one, down a little bridge to the shore of the Yangtze River. All day they would hunt for snails and little fishes and other pleasant things to eat, but in the evening as the sun set in the west, "La la 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 lay," would call the master of the boat. Quickly Ping and all his family would come scurrying. Quickly they would march, one by one, up over the little bridge onto the wise-eyed boat which was their home on the Yangtze River. Ping was always careful, very, very careful not to be the last, because the last duck to cross over the bridge always got a spank on the back. But one afternoon the shadows grew long. Ping did not hear the call because at the moment Ping was wrong side up trying to catch a little fish. By the time Ping was right side up, his mother and his father and his aunts and his uncles were already marching, one by one, up over the bridge. By the time Ping neared the shore, his uncles and his cousins were marching over. And by the time Ping reached the shore, the last of his 42 cousins had crossed the bridge. Ping knew it would be the last, the very last duck if he crossed the bridge. Ping did not want to be spanked. So he hid. Ping hid behind the grasses. As the dark came and the pale moon shone in the sky, Ping watched the wise-eyed boat slowly sail away down the Yangtze River. All night long, Ping slept near the grasses on the bank of the river with his head tucked under his wing. And when the sun rose up from the east, Ping found he was all alone on the Yangtze River. There was no father or mother, no sisters or brothers, no aunts or uncles, and no 42 cousins to go fishing with Ping. So Ping started to find them swimming down the yellow waters of the Yangtze River. As the sun rose higher in the sky, boats came. Big boats and little boats, fishing boats and beggars' boats, houseboats and raft boats, and all these boats had eyes to see with, but none of them could see the wide boat which was his home.
Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Quinn, and I am going to read The Funny Little Woman. One morning, as she was patting and shaping the rice flour, one of the dumplings started to roll. It rolled across the table. It rolled to the edge of the table. It rolled to the edge of the... I don't know where I'm at.
Go ahead, keep reading.
Where am I? I don't know where I'm...
Start over.
Okay. One morning as she was patting and shaping the rice flour, one of the dumplings started to roll. It rolled across the table. It rolled to the edge of the table. And then fell right to the earthen floor. Stop, cried the little woman, but the dumpling rolled and rolled until it rolled in a hole. Ungrateful dumpling, scolded the little woman as she knelt to reach for it. But then the earth gave away, and head over heels she tumbled and tumbled, until she found herself on a most unusual road. It was hilly, lined up with statues of gods. My dumpling, where is my dumpling? She shouted as she ran. Soon she came to one of the statues. Jinzo Sama, did you see my dumpling? Yes, I saw your dumpling roll by 3 minutes ago. But you had better not follow it, because the wicked only live at the edge of the road. Oh, tee-hee-hee, laughed the little woman. I'm not afraid of the wicked Oni. And she kept running down the road, crying, my dumpling. Has anybody seen my dumpling? Yes, I have, said a very stern Jinzo. It rolled by me just 2 minutes ago. But don't run after it, for you will surely meet the wicked Oni. Oh, tee-hee-hee, laughed the little woman. I'm not afraid of the wicked Oni. And she ran faster, shouting, my dumpling. Has anybody seen my dumpling? Soon she came to another Jinzo and asked, Dear Jinzo, have you seen my dumpling? It rolled by just 2 minutes ago. But hurry and hide behind me, for here comes the wicked Oni. The wicked Oni stopped and bowed to the Jinzo. Good day, Jinzo Sama, and very politely, Jinzo Sama, good day. Hi, thank you for listening to me read, and if you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Yay! Bravo! Excellent.
Hi, my name is Robert, and I'll be reading Could Be Worse. At Grandpa's house, things were always the same. Grandpa always had the same thing for breakfast. Every day, he read the paper. And always said the same thing. No, Grandpa, that awful dog ate this sofa cushion. No matter what, could be worse. I got a splinter in my finger, Grandpa. Could be worse. My bike has a flat and my sneakers have a hole and I lost my kite in a tree, Grandpa. Could be worse. One day, Mary Ann said, how come Grandpa never says anything interesting? I guess it's because nothing interesting happens to him, said Louie. Next morning at breakfast, Grandpa said something different. He said, guess what? Last night when I was asleep, a large bird pulled me out of bed and took me for a long ride. And dropped me in the mountains. I heard a noise. It was an abominable snowman, with a huge snowball which he threw at me. I got stuck inside the snowball, which rolled down the mountain It finally landed on the desert and began to melt. I walked across the desert. Suddenly I heard footsteps coming nearer and nearer. A moment later, I got squished by a giant something or other. Before I could get up, I heard a strange noise. A great blob of marmalade was coming toward me, which it chased me across the desert until I crashed into something tall. It was sort of like an ostrich and very cross. It gave me a big kick. I went up into some storm clouds, almost got hit by lightning, fell out of the clouds, and landed in an ocean. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hey!
I'm Marian. I'm going to be reading The Giving Tree. Once there was a tree, and she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come, and he would gather her leaves and make them into a crowns and play king of the forest. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples. And he and they would play hide and go seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much, and the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older, and the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk and swing from my branches." Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out in your local library.
Hello, my name is Catherine, and I'm going to be reading from Turtle Head. Toad was sitting on his front porch. Frog came along and said, "What is the matter, Toad? You are looking sad." "Yes," said Toad, "this is my sad time of day. It is the time when I wait for the mail to come. It always makes me very unhappy." "Why is that?" asked Frog. "Because I never get any mail," said Toad. "Not ever?" asked Frog. "Not ever," said Toad. "No one has ever sent you a letter?" Every day my mailbox is empty. That is why waiting for the mail is a sad time for me. Froggy Toad sat on the porch feeling sad together. Then Frog said, I have to go home now. Toad, there is something that I must do. Frog hurried home. He found a pencil and a piece of paper. He wrote on the paper. He put the paper in an envelope. On the envelope he wrote a letter for Toad. Frog ran out of his house. He saw a snail that he knew. Snail, said Frog, please take this letter to Toad's house and put it in his mailbox. Sure, said Snail, right away. Then Frog ran back to Toad's house. Frog was in bed taking a nap. Toad, said Frog, I think you should get up and wait for the mail some more. No, said Toad. I am tired of waiting for the mail. Frog looked out of the window at the mailbox. The snail was not there yet. Toad said, Frog, you never know when someone may send you a letter. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hey! Hey! Everybody.
Hi, my name is Brianna. The book that I'm reading is Harry the Dirty Dog. Harry was a white dog with black spots who liked everything except getting a bath. So one day when he heard the water running in the tub, he took the scrubbing brush and buried it in the backyard. Then he ran away from home. He played where they were fixing the street and got very dirty. He played at the railroad and got even dirtier. He played tag with other dogs and became dirtier still. He slid down a cold chute and got the dirtiest of all. In fact, he changed from a white dog with black spots to a black dog with white spots. Although there were many other things to do, Harry began to wonder if his family thought that he really ran away from home. He felt tired and hungry too, so without stopping on the way, he ran back home. When Harry got to his house, he crawled through the fence and sat looking at the back door. One of the family looked out and said, "There's a strange dog in the backyard. By the way, has anyone seen Harry?" When Harry heard this, he tried very hard to show them he was Harry. Harry started to do all his old clever tricks. He flipped, flopped, and he flopped, flipped. He rolled over and played dead. He danced and sang. He did these tricks over and over again, but everyone shook his head that said, "Oh no, it couldn't be Harry." Harry gave up and walked slowly toward the gate, but suddenly he stopped. He ran to a corner of the garden and started to dig ferociously. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, Check it out at your local library.
My name is Cassie. I'm going to be reading Frog and Toad Are Friends. Frog in Spring. Frog ran up the path to Toad's house. He knocked on the front door. There was no answer. Toad, Toad, shouted Frog. Wake up, it's spring. Boss, said a voice. From inside the house, Toad, Toad, cried Frog. The sun is shining, the snow is melting, wake up! I'm not here, said the voice. Frog walked into the house. It was dark. All the shutters were closed. Toad, where are you? Called Frog. Go away, said the voice. From a corner of the room, Toad was lying in bed. He had pulled all the covers over his head. Frog pushed Toad out of bed. He pushed him out of the house and into the front porch. Toad blinked. In the bright sun, help, said Toad. I cannot see anything. Don't be silly, said Frog. What you see is the clear, warm light of April. And it means that we can begin a whole new year together. Toad. Think of it, said Frog. We will skip through the meadows and run through the woods and swim in the river. In the evening, we will sit right here on this front porch and count the stars. You can count them, Frog, said Toad. I will be too tired. I'm going back to bed. Toad went back into the house. Thank you for listening to me read, and if you want to finish the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Jessie, and I'm going to be reading How Drufus the Dragon Lost His Head. Once upon a time, there lived a family of dragons. They were a horrible bunch of beasts who traveled about from country to country, stirring up trouble wherever they went. One day on a trip to some faraway land, the dragon family flew into a dense fog, and Drufus, the youngest of the dragons, lost track of the others. Drufus kept circling about in the endless gray cloud, calling and calling in a squeaky small voice, until at last he was too weary to flap his wings. Then the little dragon gave up and went gliding down to land on a mountainside and crawled into a cave where he curled up in a corner to sleep for the night. Drufus awoke the next morning feeling very lonely and so hungry, so he left his cave to find something for breakfast. Drufus was just 4 years old, and at that age, dragons feed on small things like grasshoppers and beetles. As he was searching the tall grass near the cave, he came across a grasshopper struggling helplessly in a spider web. The spider was all set to pounce when suddenly Drufus snatched the grasshopper out of the web. For a long while, Drufus held the grasshopper by one leg, wondering what to do. How could he eat someone just after saving his life? It didn't seem right. So he finally set the grasshopper free.
After that, Rufus gave up eating grasshoppers and beetles and all other things that hopped or crept or crawled, as much as he disliked it. The young dragon took to eating grass. "It tastes awful," he said, "after one mouthful, but I'll just have to get used to it." And sure enough, the more grass he ate, the better he liked it. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear how the story ends, check it out at your local library.
Hey!
Hi, my name is Chelsea, and I'm going to be reading a book called Hansel and Gretel. Gretel was terrified of the old woman and had to do as she was told. Every day she brought Hansel water and lots of good food to eat. She herself got nothing but crayfish shells, and each day the old woman went to Hansel's stall and told him to stick out one of his fingers so she could feel if he were growing plump. And each day Hansel held out a bone instead of a finger. One evening, after 4 weeks had gone by, and it still seemed that Hansel was growing no fatter, the old woman said to Gretel, "Now be quick about it. Go out and fetch water to fill the cauldron. Tomorrow morning, whether your little brother is fat, I am going to slaughter and boil him. While you are getting the water, I will be kneading dough. We'll bake bread while he's cooking." Early in the morning, when Gretel got up to light a fire under the cauldron full of water, the bread was already in the oven, and the old woman called out to Gretel, "Come over here right now. I want you to see if the bread is turning a golden brown. Get on this board and I'll push you in. There's plenty of room in the oven. Once you're inside, you can take a good look." Now the old woman really meant to leave Gretel in the oven to roast, but Gretel could tell what the old woman had in mind, and said to her, "I'm not quite sure how to about it. Could you show me? If you get on the board, I'll push you in." And the little old woman sat on the board, and Gretel pushed her into the oven as far as she could, then slammed the door and fastened the iron bolt inside the oven. The old witch screamed and howled. If you want to hear the rest of this story, check it out at your local library. Hi, my name is Kobe. I'm going to be reading our teacher, Miss Poole. Miss Poole's car broke down. "How will I go to school?" said Miss Poole. On Monday, she went by lighting. On Tuesday, she went by motorbike. On Wednesday, she went by balloon. On Thursday, she went by roller skates. On Friday, she went by elephant. On Sunday, she fixed her car. "Now I can drive to school," said Miss Poole. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Brian, and I'm going to be reading If You're Giving Moose a Muffin. If you're giving Moose a muffin, he'll want some jam to go with it. So you bring him out some of your mother's homemade blackberry jam. When he's finished eating a muffin, he'll want another and another and another. When they're all gone, he'll ask you to make more. You'll have to go to the store to get some muffin mix. He'll want to go with you. When he opens the door, he'll feel how chilly it is. He'll borrow a sweater. When he puts the sweater on, he'll notice one of the buttons is loose. He'll ask for a needle and thread. He'll start sewing. The button will remind him of the puppets his grandmother used to make. So he'll ask you for some old socks. He'll make sock puppets. When they're done, he'll want to put on a puppet show. He'll need some cardboard paint and paint. Then he'll ask you to help make this scenery. When the scenery is finished, he'll get behind the couch, but his antlers will stick out. You'll bring him a sheet from your bed. When he sees the sheet, he'll remember he wants to be a ghost for Halloween. He'll try it on and shout boo. It'll scare him so much, he'll knock the paintings over. So he'll use the sheet to clean up the mess. Then he'll ask for some soap to wash it out. He'll probably want to hang the sheet up to dry. He'll go outside to put on the clothesline. When he's out of the yard, he'll see your mother's blackberry bushes. Seeing the blackberries will remind him of her jam. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to finish the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hello, my name is Kelsey, and I'm going to be reading a book called Harry the Dirty Dog. Harry was a white dog with black spots who liked everything except getting a bath. So one day when he heard the water running in the tub, he took the scrubbing brush and buried it in the backyard. Then he ran away from home. He played where they were fixing the street and got very dirty. He played at the railroad and got even dirtier. He played tag with other dogs and became dirty still. He slid down a coal chute and got the dirtiest of all. In fact, he changed from a white dog with black spots to a black dog with white spots. Although there were many other things to do, Harry began to wonder if his family thought that he had really run away. He felt tired and hungry too. So without stopping on the way, he ran back home. When Harry got to his house, he crawled through the fence and sat looking at the back door. One of the family looked out and said, "There's a strange dog in our backyard. By the way, has
Anyone seen Harry?
When Harry heard this, he tried very hard to show them he was Harry. Thank you for listening to me read. If you want to hear the rest of the story, check it out at your local library.
Hi, my name is Hannah, and I'm going to be reading a book called Ella Enchanted.
Sleep on, Rita. Be my friend for one more night. A long week lay ahead. I pull out my magic book. It opens to a letter from Dame Olga to her daughters. My sweet darlings, your poor mother is desolate without you. I attended a cotillion last night at the palace. I wore my wine-colored taffeta gown and my ruby pendant, but I was for naught. The company was thin because King Gerald is always. Although Prince Charmant was there, the charming man, Sir Peter, wasn't there either. I was desolate. I understand he is off traveling and becoming richer, I imagine. I wish him well and will be first to pay my respects on his return. 3 pages followed describing Dame Olga's social calendar and her wardrobe. In closing, she remembered that she had daughters and was writing to them. I hope both of you are eating well to keep your strength. Olive, pray remember not to eat Madame Ed's flowers. If you were to sicken or die, I should be desolate. Hattie, I hope you have found a trustworthy servant to dress your hair. Madame Eve promised it could be arranged. I expect the 2 of you are amazingly finished by now, but do not toil too hard, my dears. If you can sing and dance charmingly, eat daintily, and sew a little, you will be fine ladies. I shall be proud of you. My sweets, the carriage has arrived. I am in my lemon silk calling gown, and I must fly. Your adoring mother, Dame Olga. Why was a trustworthy servant necessary to dress Hattie's hair? I compared the luxuriant tresses of Hattie and her mother with Olive's thin curls. I remembered Hattie's attack on my hair after she smelled the bogweed. I laughed out loud. Hattie and Dame Olga wore wigs. Thank you, Dame Olga. I hadn't expected to laugh tonight. Thank you for listening to me read. And if you would like to hear the rest of this book, you can always check it out at your local library.
Stay. What do you love? Reading! And where do you go to school?